Today I'm going to be doing a brief overview of a 2007 G35s. I'm going to go over all the things you should know about this car before buying it, all the features, and so on and so forth. From front to back, this car is 187 inches long, and the curb weight is about 3,700 pounds depending on how equipped. As you can see, this is the sport model, so that means you get a rear wing. You get larger 18-inch sport wheels. You also get wider tires out back. These specifically are 245/45 18s. They are Toyo Proxys 4. In the front you have the same 18-inch wheels, except you have 225/50 R18s. These are also Toyo Proxys 4. You also get this mud flap. The sport package also comes with a slightly lower suspension, but significantly stiffer over the base models and the all-wheel drive models. Typically the G35Ss would come with a different and somewhat more stylish sport grille, seen as here. This particular model does not have that grille. I'm still not entirely sure what this is. I believe that it is for the adaptive cruise control. These headlights are beautiful. They wrap around the side. They're very elegant. They're very, very bright. And they do their job pretty well. Standard, you do get a set of LED taillights. The middle part right here, where the brake lights come on, are a bulb. This one is LED. Dual polish tips are standard. Here's your button for the trunk release. All you have to do is have the key with you. When you press the button, the trunk will open. Simple as that. You also have your backup camera right there. The antenna is in the form of a fin. Barely noticeable, but it does flow with the car pretty well. The engine bay is pretty simple, but this is a very, very impressive engine. This is Nissan's Hr. The HR in this engine code stands for high revolution. This engine does rev all the way up to 7,500 RPM. This engine makes 306 horsepower at 6,800 RPM, which is very impressive from a naturally aspirated V6. And it makes 268 pound-feet of torque at 5,000 RPM. Battery compartment is right here. Power steering is right there, windshield wiper right there, oil is right here. It's all very simple. They made it very, very simple. Now, these intakes are obviously aftermarket. They're DC Sports. They costed me $270 or so, and they sound amazing. They also slightly helped with fuel economy based off what I've seen, and they did add a slight amount of extra torque. Very slight, but I did notice it. Now, getting into this car, you do have a smart key access system. All you have to do, press this button, door unlocks, as simple as that. Press it again to lock. If you don't get in the car, or if you step out of the car will beep to let you know. Obviously, you know that you stepped out of the car. One press unlocks your door, another press unlocks all four. You get in. Just let me start off by saying that I personally think Infiniti did an amazing job with this interior. It's very simple, very clean, just how I love it on Japanese cars. Now, this is an 8-year-old car, so you do have basic wear and tear, but the brushed aluminum has held up great. This soft touch padded material over here has held up great. Even the cloth up here has held up quite amazing. Steering wheel is leather. It's a very, very good steering wheel. This is all soft touch material, which I always thought was a nice extra feature, seeing how you're not literally going to be driving around feeling these materials, but they are very high quality. Seats are leather. You have back headrests for safety. You have decent side bolsters over here for when you're carving corners. They're pretty good. Nothing too big, nothing too small. You have a leather armrest and compartment. The gauge cluster is also very impressive. Personally, I like the blue and orange color scheme of it. As you can see, the outside of your gauges are accented in black, but in the inside you have a nice blue ring, and the actual needles themselves are orange. Also, with this button right here, you can filter through different modes. You could go through your outside temperature. You have a whole list of things that you could filter through. Your display, if you wanted to change it, press it again, you can go to your miles per gallon, what you're getting, back to your miles per gallon, the time you've been driving it since you've turned it on, and back to your range. You also get a sunroof, very big sunroof. All you have to do, push this button once, the sunroof goes back by itself. Very nice touch. Sometimes you have to hold it. You push this button again, the back will open to allow some air ventilation. Very nice touch. Close it just like that. Close the door, and that's that. Your rear view mirror has a compass. You have garage link. You can turn off your garage link, and you can turn off your compass for whatever reason. Now, this is a fairly large car, but it also is a sports car. The back seat legroom is acceptable. With the front seat all the way back, legroom back here is pretty much non-existent. If the front seat was moderately forward, legroom is still pretty minuscule, but you will have some space, and the back seats back here are very comfortable, to say the least. Your back seat passengers also get fully functional vents. You have an ashtray, and your cup holders are in the armrest behind you. Another nice touch is if you move the seat forward, or in any direction for that matter, it will adjust the steering wheel and the mirrors to wherever you move it. As you can see, I'm currently moving back, and the steering wheels and mirror adjust. You have seat memory. You remember your steering wheel position, your mirror position, and your seat position. All of the mirrors are fully automatic. That's also a nice luxury touch, but yes, this is a luxury car. Now that brings me to the very, very impressive center console. One thing I love about Japanese cars, most of them, in my opinion, are very simple up here. My sister drives an Audi, and I noticed there's a ton of buttons over here. Half of them she doesn't even know what they do. This car just happens to be very simple. You have the controls for your screen up here. You have your satellite navigation. You have your route. Once you put it in, you can modify it. You can go to your map, which will be your main screen. Your phone, once you have it set up. Basic info about the car. You can go through your fuel economy, maintenance, traffic info, etc. And you could look at settings about the car. Audio, display, phone, clock, all the basic stuff. You could also filter through it with this, or you could also touch it, which is very nice. Now you get into your radio settings. You do have an aux, which is great in any modern car, because in my opinion, I would rather just plug up an aux cord and go, plug it into my phone. One thing you do want to take into consideration is that your aux cord is going to be a 2-prong aux that goes into a single one like this. Works fine though. It works. If it works, it works. I think personally you get a better sound out of the two, but that's based off of my opinion. You have your volume button, your presets for the radio.
The prices?
You have your CD buttons right here. You can tune the sound, bass all the way up or down, however you like it, treble, etc. Your AC is very simple. You have dual zone climate control. You push that button, your passenger will press it. They can control their air independently from yours. You can turn it up. The AC is very powerful, but it's also not too loud. You have front and rear defrost, obviously. You have different modes, etc. This is all standard stuff that comes on most cars nowadays. Back in 2007, this car came with 2 transmission options. The first and standard was a 6-speed manual. This car is equipped with a 5-speed automatic with manual shiftability. You obviously have your park, reverse, neutral, and drive. Now the car is in drive, you'll see it up there. But you move this over to the right, it says DS for driving sport. Now you're in sport mode. If you push this up once, now you're in fully manual mode. You control the gears 100%. The only time the car intervenes there is it will not let you over rev. So if you're at 6,000 RPM and you try to downshift, the car will not downshift because you will mess up the transmission. Personally, I think that in this mode it does very good. In sport mode, what it does is it holds your RPMs higher for longer. It waits longer to shift. It will also downshift for you. I will include a driving clip so you can see how it drives. Now I'm going to put the car in normal drive. If you listen closely, you'll notice that not very much engine noise comes through to this compartment. It's very, very quiet. Infiniti did a great job with that. You could still hear the engine in some circumstances, but in average everyday driving and regular drive, you cannot really hear much of anything. The visibility is obviously amazing. You have a full 360-degree view of everything in front and around you. Your mirror, you can see behind you clearly. Your side mirrors, you could see everything next to you. The A-pillars don't really get in the way too much, but they are there. Obviously, every car has A-pillars. It absorbs bumps great. There's not a lot of road noise coming in. Slight road noise. A nice loud horn for people like this. But as you can see, I'm going over a very bumpy street, and even with the sport suspension, the car is absorbing the bumps good. You barely feel it. You feel it just as much as you would in any other car. The brakes on this car are amazing. They slow this 3,700-pound car down effortlessly. The car does make turns very well, even though this particular one does not have power steering. That's not something from Infiniti, that was me. The car does have 75,000 miles on it, and after a while the power steering went. I'm going to get it checked out, but it's not really a problem to me. Even without the power steering, the car does turn great. It does its job very well. These school buses are empty. Now I'm going to put the car in sport mode and show you what happens. With the car in sport mode, it will shift for you. It will also even downshift for you sometimes if you slow down. The torque and all the power is available immediately. If in automatic sport mode, it shifts for you. It does everything it has to. It drives like a sports car. You could hear the engine blaring through into the cabin. Sounds amazing in my opinion, especially with those intakes. Just now it downshifted. I felt that the car kind of jerked forward a little bit, then slow down. It does have a big engine, so engine braking is something that you cannot really avoid, but that's not always a bad thing to people. Now I'm going to put it in regular manual mode and show you how that works. We are now in first gear. All the torque is available all the way. I'm going to slow down because we're next to a park. You put it back in drive, it'll resume driving like a regular sports car. So I really enjoy how this car drives. It's very spirited, drives amazing in my opinion. The fuel economy on this car is actually not too good in my opinion. You get roughly 17 miles to the gallon in the city. I'm not really sure how much on the highway. If you're from New York City like I am, you're probably going to be on the city most of the you're probably going to be in the city most of the time you're driving. My fuel economy is pretty bad. The intakes did improve it slightly, but I do find myself at the gas station more times than not. Can I get $20.93? What the fuck? Ew. Ew, stop throwing up. What's wrong with you? Oh no, that's so nasty. Yo, anyway, this car does take premium fuel only, which could be looked at as a bad thing, but premium fuel obviously means premium car. All in all, I think that this is an amazing car. Drives amazing, looks absolutely amazing, very luxurious. If you're someone who's in the market looking for a nice entry-level luxury sports car, I would highly recommend this car. Timeless design, even though it is a G35 from 2007, even being 8 years old, the car looks amazing. The Q50 recently came out, so you can now get these for around 10,000, 7,000 if you get high mileage. And even with high miles, this car is amazing. You're not going to run into any trouble or anything like that. For a first car, this car wouldn't really, I mean, you can get any car you want as a first car, but if you are going to get this as a first car, just know that it is expensive to maintain. In New York, the insurance is going to be a lot of money because it is a luxury car with expensive parts. It is a very powerful car. It's rather fast for a first car. It's heavy and it's a long car, so it may be slightly harder than normal to control. Shouldn't be a problem though if you are an experienced driver or if you do plan on learning how to drive a sports car. So that's going to be it for this review. There's a few other cars I plan on doing reviews of, cars that would be good first cars such as Acura Integras, Honda Civics, and other luxury cars like Audi A4s. Keep an eye out for those videos, keep an eye out for other types of videos on my channel, and I'll see you next time.